Good afternoon, everybody. We are back. It's Right Side of Campus. We're live for January 3rd, 2017. It's Wednesday here on a cold and blustery Wednesday afternoon. We break down the card for tonight off of winner yesterday, the one play a day system. Nice job last night. We hit the over with about 5 seconds ago, but hey, I thought that game should have flied over, and it ended up going over anyway. So I'm not really too worried about it. A winner's a winner. It doesn't matter if it's by half a point or if it's by 20 points. So I'll take it. Add one more win to my nice run here, and move on to Wednesday. If you're following along at home, what am I? 62 and 37, which is 63% for the lay people out there. By the way, tonight will be our 100th play this season. 62 and 37, up 21.10 units. So 100 plays tonight for me. This will be my 100th play. I'd like to hit tonight. I go 63% as we ride into the next 100, hopefully as good as we did the first 100. So a monumental night here for the big man on campus. Hopefully all of you will join me on an excursion into winning, hopefully. If you're out there, please hit the like button. I'd greatly appreciate it. It helps get the show out there to people that might not be able to see it. Add the likes, the views, the comments, subscribe to the channel. We will have a guest, a little surprise guest at about 5:20, 5:25. So about 20 minutes, we'll have our guest come on and, hopefully end the show. Guys, I got to be off by 5:30 tonight, though. I got to call into another show. So an old friend of mine. So I will be off at around 5:30. But let's get into the plays tonight. I welcome all of you guys out there. Matt Varnum, P. White, Brad Dale, Chadwick Williams, Kevin White, Barabbas, George Young, Greg Mattson, Mark DeFrunzo, Jason Ash. What's up, man? James Ross, Blue Bayou. All of you guys, welcome in. It's time to get that money, cuz looking at a bunch of injuries. I'm not sure what you're talking about. What injuries? Tough luck on Chelsea. It's not tough luck. It is what it is. What are you gonna do? It was a great goal. And that happens. That's why, again, if you comment on my Twitter before a game's over, you're getting blocked. I've done it today already to people. I'm not doing it anymore. If you comment on my thing before the game's over that the game was a nice winner, you're getting blocked. Every time it happens, something stupid happens. You do it, you're getting blocked. No more talk about it. It was 2-1. The penalty was questionable, though it should have been called, and it was. Peter Cech never saves penalties, so that was going to be a 2-1 advantage. And look, it was just a deflection. The way the deflection went, it was just poor. I think it was Marco Alonso tries to head it out, goes right to Hector Bellerin, and Hector Bellerin with a fucking laser. That's a nice finish. And that's Arsenal. Arsenal's very good at home. My handicap was that Mesut Ozil wouldn't play, which, again, that happens sometimes. He did play, and he was fantastic. With Arsenal, if Mesut Ozil's not playing, you bet against him. It's just the truth. If they sell him, they're absolutely nuts. I'd never sell him. He's a very, very, very good player. Really important to that team. I would not sell him. But let's get into hoops. That's why we're here. What's up, Gogster? Yeah, it was a great game. Good point. And that's how I often wonder how people don't like soccer. I don't get it. After watching a game like that, how do you not like it? But all right, guys, let's update the odds here and let's shoot out to what we're looking at today. I'm going to go to a game that I always normally enjoy. I'm going to go to another total again because I like totals. I'm going to go to, if you ever seen I Like Totals, I like totals. I like totals. I like totals. There's that little kid a couple years ago. It was like a meme. But I'm going to go to game 793, 794, 8 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to go over 147 here in South Dakota State, North Dakota State. You can get 147 currently. Can we get 147? We're going to go 147.5 here. The only book that's offering it is Bovada. I don't use Bovada. So we're going to go 147.5 here in North Dakota State. South Dakota State, 147.5. We're going to go over the posted total in this game. And I've mentioned before, I like the Summit League. I'm a fan of this conference. I always have been, always will. And I'm very interested in this game tonight because you look at obviously Mike Daum, the player, to me, one of the best players in the country. He's the best player no one's heard of. What he's done at South Dakota State is amazing. What he'll continue to do is amazing. And North Dakota State's not going to stop him tonight. It's just the truth of the matter. They've struggled all year with bigs. I had him actually. I bet against them against Missouri State, and Alize Johnson had a big night in that game. I'm concerned about what Dominator might do tonight. He could have a huge game here, and that's a concern if you're the Bison. I also look at the Bison on offense, and I don't see any issue they don't score tonight. I mean, this South Dakota State team's been brutally bad on the defensive end. I mean, they're giving up, 85 points a game this year. Actually, I'm sorry, 86 points a game on the road. So I'm concerned here about what they might be doing here on the road. They've had issues all year defending. They're just one of those teams. They like to play up tempo. It's hard to defend like that. And North Dakota State comes in here. You look at what they've done at home. They've been really good inside Fargo. I mean, they're 4-1 at their home stadium, 86 points a game, shooting 56%. Really impressive. Both these teams have shot the lights out this year. And look, Dom's a big reason why South Dakota State has done that. You look at the free throw percentages here. 74% and 71%. Both these teams shoot the three at a high level. Again, I like it. I'm going to rock with it here. Let's go over 147.5 here in this one. Bookmaker is 148. Well, good for them. There are other books that have 147.5. So I'm not going to we're not going to go down this. Bet Online has 147.5. If you don't have that book, I don't know what to tell you. It might be time to look elsewhere. But there are various 147.5s available. 147 at Pinnacle, 5 Dimes, Bet Online, Intertops, sportsbetting.ag. There are various 147s and a halves everywhere. Really, really like this game tonight. I think we see a game that definitely gets into the 150s here. Summit League totals are generally priced low, which is just kind of how it goes. You look at tempo also. I think a lot of people, that look into tempo might say, well, North Dakota State's 299th in possessions per game, which, again, they're actually up from last year. And I looked at last year's games, and generally they're going high. They're going into the mid 140s, low 150s. And South Dakota State's really good tempo-wise. They're, top 40 in the country tempo-wise. So it should be able to even itself out. North Dakota State can score when they need to with the guard play that they have, with their guards and with, Dom. I mean, Dom could have a huge game here tonight. So let's rock with that. And another thing I like about North Dakota State is, they shoot the three. Some of these kids shoot the three at a pretty high rate. Jacobson, Cameron Hunter, Jared Samuelson, all these guys shoot the ball at a high level. So I'm a fan of this play. I like it. I think we see a high-scoring game here, and it's similar to last night. And even in the last night's game, it was high scoring. But you look at the first 5 minutes, it was brutal. I mean, both teams started out really slow. So we don't get discouraged here early on if this is a low-scoring game. But let's rock 147.5, North Dakota State, South Dakota State. We got about 200 people in here live. I welcome you in. Welcome. I appreciate you tuning in today. Let's get into some other games, and we'll bring on our guests in about 10 minutes. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. Look, I don't have a ton on that game. I'm not sure. I think the line's right where it should be. I don't think this line is too high. It's not too low. It's right where I would put it. And, I wonder about Oklahoma State. I mean, they have limited experience on the road. They have had limited success scoring on the road. They're only shooting it at about 35.5%. While Oklahoma will get their shooting percentages up for Oklahoma State, they don't play a great brand of defense. Look, I'm not looking to step in front of Trae Young. I'm not looking to step in front of an improved team here, a team that's really starting to see themselves offensively and off a huge win against TCU. I think this line's right where it should be. I don't see any value here. How about LSU UK? Um, Again, not a game that I'm too interested in. I don't have much on it. UNLV San Jose State. This line has gotten out of hand a little bit. Um, while I think UNLV will roll, it's hard to trust them laying a number like this on the road. You look at their couple of their road games this year. One was against Pacific, didn't cover. One was against Northern Iowa, didn't cover. Now you have your third road game. So you're 0-2 on the road against the spread. UNLV's 5-17 over the last 22 games on the road against the spread. Now you're asking him to lay a big number here against San Jose. San Jose's bad. And UNLV on paper should easily win this game. But San Jose, the one thing that they can do is they're a pretty big group. If they can rebound, get some easy putbacks, they can hang in this game. There's a lot of points. But your UNLV on paper should roll. But again, they've had road woes a while now. And they've had trouble at times in games that they should roll in. Most notably the Southern Utah game. I mean, that was at home. They had major trouble there. I mean, that's a team you should have no trouble with. They're not a great foul shooting team. And they're off a loss. They're off another game against Northern Colorado they had trouble in. Had trouble against Illinois. They're hitting some, they have some growing pains here. And listen, San Jose State, the strength of UNLV is their front court. San Jose, if they have a strength, is their front court. So, again, at the original number, maybe. But at this number, I don't. Yeah, thanks for blocking that guy. He was in my stream the other day, I feel like. So, yeah, take that for what it's worth in that game. 11.5 is a much better number than you're getting now. The whole world loves UNLV, too. Let's just remember, this is a poor road team. Until they get that figured out, it's hard for me to get involved with them. Where else are we going to go here? LaSalle, Rhode Island, talked about this one. It's important to find out the status of BJ Johnson. All I've heard is he's a game time decision, which, in college, the writing's usually on the wall there. Will he play? Who knows? My guess is I'm sure he'll play because game time decisions generally favor playing, I've noticed, at least this year. But they haven't reported anything. They're keeping it very tight-lipped. BJ's not on Twitter or anything to ask. Some of these guys are on Twitter directly, and you can ask them. Yeah. Let me see here. How do you feel about Notre Dame without Bonzi Colson? I said it earlier. I'm not interested, and this is a good time to fade Notre Dame. The problem is, I think Matt Farrell will be fine against the press that NC State's going to run. But again, off the loss of Bonzi Colson, you got to wonder where their head's at. Little E's in here. Little E, I think you're the guy that was the premature ejaculator on the Chelsea game. Please don't do that again. Hopefully you learned your lesson, and you don't do that again. Maybe you don't watch soccer. I don't know. But I've learned in my past life and in my life now that when you call a game early, it always loses. Maybe he didn't know there was an extra 5 minutes generally, but yeah, there is. And I'm not saying you were the reason it lost, but I've learned in my time in this business, generally when someone does that, the game loses. What do I think about Davidson? The line drop is puzzling. Well, exactly. His bad karma. Well, the line dropping because I think sharps are betting the other side here. And do I understand why they're doing that? No. But I don't think this is one of the stronger Davidson teams. The one thing about the Billikens of St. Louis, they are a pretty good defensive team. But they've been awful. And I wouldn't have any interest in this game because this looks like a sharp play on St. Louis here. This line should be going the other way, not down. It's kind of that reverse line movement thing, which I don't really pay much attention to in college hoops, but I can see the reasons for back in St. Louis. Davidson, never a good defensive team. Davidson's all about will they make their shots or will they not make their shots. If they don't make their shots, they'll get beat generally, no matter who they're playing. Marquette Providence is a weird line. I don't understand why Marquette's laying a number here on the road, and I know it's public money that's bet this up. I know the public loves Marquette this year, and they're pretty down on Providence, and for good reason. Providence has had a lot of injury trouble, but it looks like everyone's playing in this game. Other than Emmett Holt, who has been out for a while. They're at home here. The only reason I'm not betting Providence is because they're like 65% from the free throw line. But if they weren't, I'd probably bet them here. I don't really see why they're a favorite, Providence. I mean, what has Marquette done on the road, really? Let's take a look at what Marquette's done on the road. Okay, beat VCU. That's not really that big a deal. Got crushed by Wichita. Went to LSU. I mean, me and 4 listeners can score 90 points in LSU. All their games have been at home. Beat Wisconsin. Who cares? I mean, I don't really see it here. They're another team, all about their shots falling. They're another team. Don't play a ton of defense. I don't know. It's weird. This looks like a public burial here. And I've noticed that 1-point favorite on the road generally loses. I already talked about NC State and Notre Dame. It's a weird thing just because do I think it's a good spot to bet against a team? Yes, mentally, but Matt Farrell's a senior. He's a smart kid. He's a good point guard. He knows how to handle a press. And he's a kid that can keep someone in a game. They have plenty of players on that team that can step up. But you lose 30, 40% of your offense, that's a tough loss. But if anyone can coach them up, it's Mike Bray. You actually misunderstood what I was saying. I never called the game. I don't even watch soccer. I don't know. I mean, skeptical whether you didn't call the game. If I can go back here, you said, well, you called it, exclamation point. I don't know. I don't know. I know you mean well. It's okay, buddy. I'm just telling you. Don't do that to other people. It's cool with me, but it's tough to continue to. It's just bad juju on it. It's what we would call in South Philly a mush. You mushed it. You put the kibosh on it. Any update on Keyshawn Evans? I think Drake kills Illinois State if he doesn't play. That's a sneaky overplay. Drake's obviously fast. They play fast. They score. They do all those things. Illinois State's actually pretty quick as well. That might be a sneaky good over. Duquesne, George Washington, that's a toss-up for me. Dambrot's done a great job at Duquesne so far. And I like Watanabe for Washington. So pass for me. Yeah, listen, I give people a lot of the time the benefit of the doubt anymore just because with calling a game early, we've all done it. I've done it. We've all done it. But, you give them one shot, and if they do it again, then it's like, all right, see ya. I'm not going to put him in the bathroom. He's always seemed to be nice to me, so I don't have too big an issue. I actually didn't block him. Actually, he's been very nice to me overall. So I don't have much. Yeah, there's a lot of dickheads on Twitter. He's been pretty nice to me, so I don't have too much of a problem with him. Any thoughts on? Just don't do it again, bro. And I'm just telling you for a future reference for other people. Any thoughts on laying the points at home at UCF? No. I have no interest in laying points at UCF ever, mainly because BJ Taylor's not playing. And until BJ Taylor plays, I don't trust them. They're just not very good offensively without him. Are they a great defensive team? Sure they are. Very good, actually. One of the best. But, I mean, they can't score. You look at Sunday when they played Eastern Carolina, they only scored 59 points. And Memphis is way better than Eastern Carolina. When did you start getting involved in soccer, big man? I started watching soccer in 2006 or so. I was still in high school. Basically, the story behind my soccer thing was my best friend growing up was Sicilian. He came from Palermo in Sicily, and he had a pizzeria. And when I was in high school, we worked at the pizzeria together. I would cut meat, pizzas, just a lot of stuff at the pizzeria. We worked together all the time. It was fun. And his father was a big, he was a big Inter Milan fan, and Italy fan. And I remember that year they went to the World Cup, and we loved the team. We went to the Bronx and watched the final game. It was amazing. And ever since then, I've loved football. To me, frankly, if you ask me, I think it's the second best sport to watch in the world. I've become obsessed with it. I love it. I love the Premier League. I think it's one of the greatest leagues there is. Georgia Tech, Miami should be a tough, boring game to watch. There's a reason the game's priced in the 120s. It's because no one's going to score. Miami's a really good defensive team. Georgia Tech's missing some people right now. They're going to have a tough year under Pastner. Lean Miami. Nate Mason. Minnesota doesn't cover a win if he doesn't play. I don't know about that. I considered the over in that game, actually. Both those teams, high tempo. Should be a lot of easy offensive rebounds for the Minnesota group. I also wonder about Minnesota on the defensive end. They've had some major trouble at times this year. What about Evansville? Evansville's another team I like. I like that group. I've mentioned on some of the shows they were considered a play for me, actually. The only thing that kept me off is their road splits aren't very good. And Southern Illinois is a sneaky team. I like Barry Hinson. I always have. I think he's a good coach. But they have some injury concerns right now. Line's going down a bit as well. Evansville, they always play these close games. At some point, they're going to get blown out. Might be tonight. It's a stay away for me. I think the best player on the board is the game I gave out. Let me get the link over to our guest here. I want to get him on here. Who's your team in the Premier League? I didn't know you had a team in the Premier League. Who, Arsenal? Go on. Well, who's your team in the Premier League? I didn't know you even watched it. Virginia Tech, Virginia. It's whoever maintains tempo there. You got one of the best offensive teams in the country against one of the best defensive teams in the country. Tough one. Very tough. Yeah, Kansas losing again. That was brutal, wasn't it? Boise State, New Mexico. Hang on one second. Let me get my guest on here. Yeah, you can't trust Kansas. You're totally right. You're a United fan? I didn't know that. Yeah, fuck United. I think they're so overrated. All right, here. One second here. Bradley -6.5 against Valpo. Yeah, I don't like Valpo. I think they stink. They're just getting a kid back with injury, Tevin Walker. I like Bradley. Great defensive team. Yeah, I don't. But again, do I want to lay 7 points to them? No. Mizzou, South Carolina, no opinion. Georgia Tech's horrendous. I agree. Wait for our guest to come on here. Where the hell is he? What else do I have here? Wyoming, Nevada. Injuries there. Martin brothers are both injured. Questionable on who's going to play. Bonnie Dayton, that's a good one. I think Cunningham will have a big game in this game. I think Mobley and Adams have big games as well. That's a bit of a toss-up. I got to be honest, guys. I don't like the card very much tonight. There's not a ton to really wet or whistle on. St. John's has injury concerns. I like Hughes, but I don't like him on the road. LaSalle, we don't know what that injury concern is all about. If B.J. Johnson doesn't play, they'll get run out. Where the fuck is my guest at here? He's late. Already talked to UNLV. You'll have to re-listen. Yeah, you have to re-listen. Who do I support? Liverpool. Liverpool Football Club. You never walk alone. No, I already talked about it, Spears. You have to re-listen. Sorry. These people coming in 24 minutes late, and they're going to miss some games. Rutgers, Purdue. Rutgers has really tailed off since that big win against Seton Hall, which I think was a real emotional kind of win. You win those games sometimes. We know Rutgers is very good. We know they're a bit of a fraud. Generally, they play these bad teams. And you look at the following up. You lose to Stony Brook and Hartford. After beating Seton Hall. I don't want to bet against Purdue here. Already talked about Marquette Providence. Lean Providence. I think LSU catches Kentucky at home tonight. All right. I wouldn't bet my life on it. But I do think LSU's better, and I like Will Wade a lot. South Dakota State total tanked. Good for that.
Party started. Rhode Island.
Donnie.
Let's get the party started.
Well, I didn't see you in here. I'm trying to give out game predictions, and you just yell out from everywhere. Donnie writes that joins me. It's a special night at SBR, which we're excited about. We're starting our betcast tonight. I brought Donnie on here in the last 5 minutes, basically, to chat about the game we're going to cover. Donnie, we're watching Florida State and UNC tonight. Should be a fun game. The line's a bit of a toss-up. You got a total in the 160s. You got generally two very big teams. In particular, we know UNC, always a very good rebounding team. Donnie, I want to make the listeners well aware of this. It's important you watch the betcast tonight. We're going to be doing play-by-play. We're going to be doing live wagering. It's going to be fun. I'm excited about it.
It's going to start a nice new profile. Me and Jeff have been working on this for quite a long time. We didn't want to oversaturate it. We are going to do some NFL playoffs and have a lot of fun with that, but we wanted to make this our own thing coming here Wednesday night. And I like Jeff bringing me on his personal channel to sort of talk to some people that may have not met us or even seen us both together, Jeff, when we do our Right Side of Campus shows. We've been together, paired up for about a year now, hundreds of shows down. This is the first time that me and the big man on campus are going to do a betcast. We're going to be going over, again, like Jeff said, live play-by-play, going over some in-game numbers, spinning around America there, just seeing what's going on in some other games out there, having a lot of fun and talking in the chat box. Anything that comes up, we'll go over, but it's primarily about the big game every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. We want to make this a thing here at sportsbookreview.com and also on our channels, Jeff. It's going to be a lot of fun, brother. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I just put my Twitter at sign in the chat box here. If you want, follow me on Twitter. The link will be posted there. And I want to make everyone aware, this is not going to be a free-for-all. We're going to go and talk about the NFL and what we had for dinner. It's going to be the game. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to have fun with it. Basketball, obviously, very up-tempo. And if you caught the Duke Florida betcast that I did, that was fun. We had a lot of fun with that. It was only me, which it's tough to do a betcast on your own because you need that guy kind of like a color commentator to come in and, it was a great play by, whoever, whatever. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Donnie, do you have a play? Do you have a feel in this game? What are you thinking?
Yeah, just looking overall, going over the numbers, we know, Jeff, Florida State plays very well at home, has played very well at home over the past couple of years, especially under Leonard Hamilton. As talented a team last year? No, but still a good ball club. We saw them go up to Duke, Jeff, play them right down to the bone. What did they lose by? 100-93, I believe that final was there. A good matchup here coming into Tallahassee tonight, Jeff. The one interesting thing that I always like to look at, Jeff, I know you're big on this as well. Still in, that break mode down in Tallahassee. Bad weather for them, Jeff. As soon as they get a snowflake, maybe the city doesn't come out tonight. It's usually a pretty good home atmosphere down in that convention center down there. I wonder what we'll get tonight, though.
Yeah, I saw they were all they were all crazy today in Tallahassee because one of the statues was frozen. Yeah, sometimes it gets cold. We've dealt with it for like 3 weeks straight. Now we're going to hit a snowstorm tonight. But yeah, I'm excited about it. You got a battle of two generally big teams, like I said. It's going to be a battle of the rebounds. It's going to be about who can hit some big shots late. We know Joel Berry will be involved. Who's that third scoring option for UNC? You have Luke May, you have Joel Berry, but who's the third guy that comes out of the forefront for UNC? It's going to be a fun ACC game as always. Turn down Dick Vitale. How many times do you need to hear him a year? And it's going to be a fun time. I'm looking forward to it. Question here before I wrap it up. I don't get all the Colin Sexton hype. Am I alone with that thinking? Yes, Brooks, right. You are probably alone on that. I like
just
Colin
a bandwagon driver, Colin Sexton. Come on, you can't question that, right?
No, Colin Sexton is he's pretty good. I think the only reason Brooks is saying that because he might have had Alabama maybe on a money line last night. I don't know. But again, no, I can't say I can join you on that, my friend. They need Pinson to step up. Yes, they do. Good point. They're missing. They lost some people last year. They lost Kennedy Meeks. You lost Bryce Johnson. You lost some players over the last couple of years. But we're looking forward to it. Join us 7 o'clock on the dot. Donnie and I will be live, breaking it down, having some fun, watching the game. Other than that, I'll wrap it up. Tonight's play for me, over 147.5, North Dakota State, South Dakota State. Donnie, Summit League, what do you think?
Already sent me that. I got to see the privileged part for me and Jeff is I get to text ahead of time, so I don't have to wait or, come in and hang around for Jeff or for Jeff to get mad. I like to get it first, and I could bust Jeff balls a little bit later. But last one we got, again, man, sometimes early in the season, you guys know me. I wait a little bit longer there. Jeff bust my balls about betting college basketball. I mean, the time is coming soon, but caught Evansville on a nice number, got that winner. As soon as Jeff sends a text, it's already in. I mean, we know the numbers that Jeff puts out there, right? So we're going to have some fun tonight. Let's win some money, and we'll do this betcast together, and we'll really enjoy it tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I agree. Catch me every day on here, 5 o'clock Eastern. What did Little E say something? Where's he at? Little E. Yeah, settle down, Little E. Little E was calling.
Little E's telling himself to settle down. I like
it. Well, he's taking his own advice, and I got to respect him for it because he was the guy earlier calling the Chelsea game before it was over. Little E learned. He's not going to do it again. I think he's good. But tonight, over 147.5, Summit League, North Dakota State, South Dakota State. Also, word of wisdom. Don't come in the chat tonight at 8 o'clock and at 8:10, hey, 8-4 in the North Dakota State game. I don't want to know. Let's just not talk about it. Let's just talk about the game we're dealing with right now. Tonight,
Jeff, we could go into the moderator box and actually type like the score or the actual schools in there where nobody can even type it in or even come up for you. How about that?
That's great call.
How about that? How about that?
All right, tonight, 7 o'clock, SBR Picks, SBR YouTube page. We'll be on there. Donnie and I, join us for that. I'll be back tomorrow with another Big Men on Campus podcast. Looking forward to it. 100th play tonight, Donnie writes in. My 100th play of the season. Let's hit number 63 out of 100. That's what we need tonight. Everyone have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Talk to you at 7. Bye-bye.